because we are heading towards comprehensive solutions for public transport. We do not want a situation where the public, the good people of our country, will be held hostage, allegedly, by a group of transport operators who will just want to shut down the system. We've been on this issue throughout the week. It's become a national conversation. Yesterday, we were told that Interministerial Committee coordinating decentralization was meeting the Minister for Transport and the Minister for Local Government Development. This morning, we understand that the Vice President will be meeting the Transport Minister. Now, the Metro Mars and Gapte Ayalolo were told deployed some buses, even though they are down with fleets. Some of their buses have had to be redeployed to help ameliorate the situation, ease the congestion we are seeing across the capital city. How has that improved your commute going home and getting to work? Did you feel that? Did you experience the MMTs? Well, we have some voices of commuters heading home last night. Some had to enter, trucks. The indignities of public transport. We'll bring you some updates from last night, and then you can share your experiences with us this morning as you're going to work, as we continue to press and search for a more comprehensive, more sustainable solution to our public transport challenges, one that is affordable and dignifying. That's the conversation we're having today. What will it take for us to have affordable, sustainable, and dignifying public transport? One that is even electric, because the world is moving to electric buses, electric mode of transport. How can we phase out the, obsolete, risky buses that are not worthy of carrying our precious lives? Someone says the public transport owners, they have brought themselves, so it's a fine opportunity for the government to sanitize the space. What solution do you want to see? Big conversation coming up. Join us. Our WhatsApp line is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. Save the number. I'll be happy if you could send voice notes, share your experiences and your solutions. What's kind of improvement you want to see? All that is coming up. And we have some dedications because some amazing loved ones of our listeners are celebrating their birthday. We'll be bringing you those shortly. Godfred Akotobuafo is in studio. Richard Dalaska is here. Francisca Kakrafo sing. And of course, my name is Caleb Kuda. So we've been raising the issue of the public transport crisis, which Kakra aptly, describes as artificial shortage of vehicles. We've seen some prompt action from state actors and trying to put in more buses to ease the congestion and also engage GPRTU and all of that. The real test of answers is whether or not the commuters' experiences have been enhanced. And then, of course, the bigger picture is as proper sanitization of the space, so that moving on in the long term, we see a more dignified public transport system, affordable and better for all of us, reliable, timely, and that's a big conversation. So we want to go back to last night and bring you some voices of commuters and their experiences, and then we'll continue.
When I was coming, I get there were plenty people there. There was no car. So I've decided to take to the station here to see if I can get another car to continue to 37. Still, I'm here. I came to the roadside around 6 something. I'm still here without car. People are struggling, fighting to get a vehicle. So the challenges here is too much, Masa. It's not easy. There are people here. If you go to Nungwa there are plenty people, sea of people there looking for car. They don't get it. They don't find car. So the transport problem there, we have it. And many of the drivers, if they are going to 37, they will take to station here. Then they will, because they want more money. So when they take from Nungwa, they load from Nungwa to here. then they will drop people here and take 37 people. So instead of paying 6 cities to 37, you end up paying maybe getting to 10 cities.
Actually, 5 hours by days from here to Abuja, we didn't even get car right now. And people are suffering for here about car early in the morning, and traffic too is even how it is even warriors is not easy. So I'm begging they should help us about the transport issue so that we can be getting it easier for Teshi Mobile here.
Transport issue here is very difficult, very, very difficult. You come here and try to board a car, but you wait more than sometimes 15 minutes to 30 minutes before you get the car. Yes, I'm going to Sakumono here, just a state junction here. Sometimes see the crowd, you'll be fighting about getting the car. It's very difficult. Transportation issue here is very difficult. So I don't know if government have something to do about this, so that it will calm this situation. It's very, very difficult, especially in the morning when we are going to work. We find it difficult.
The people are more than the cars that are passing, and the one that will go, they don't charge the same price, the normal price. They normally charge 10 cedis, whereby it's not 10 cedis that they charge. It's charge 7 cedis or 650 to Taifa. So we are still waiting. There's some few time before, like to Taifa, to Christmas, and it started. And we thought after the holidays it will go over, but still they are continuing. I work at Taifa, but I come to church at Calvary Baptist, so I have to go back to Taifa. And you have been here 1 hour. To get the car is a problem. The price there of late, it looks like you brush up your mind that you stick to what they will charge. You are praying that you get a car.
Right, so those were some voices from commuters from last night, and our Ashanti Regional Bureau Chief Hafiz Tijani joins us on the line to give us a picture of the situation in the Ashanti region. Hafiz, good morning. Where exactly are you this morning, and what's the situation?
Well, Caleb, I'm at the Abrim station in the Fabri East municipality of the Ashanti region, and this is where you find more passengers traveling or going to areas like Dr. Mensa, the Central Business District, the KJTR market. And the most affected, I would say, or the hardest hit are students from senior high schools, from primary schools, from junior high schools, who are struggling to get vehicles to their destination. And then the issue about getting transport is a bit worrying here, especially for most of the students. So when the drivers come, like we know in other parts of the country, they want to charge exorbitant fares because there are no vehicles. And sometimes they want to pick people who are going to Dr. Mensa, for instance. They want to pick them from maybe short distances, trying to get to their destination. Most of them don't have that option, but they want to pay because they want to get to their various destinations very quick. They want to ensure that they get vehicles, they don't get stranded here. So I have some students with me here who will share with me the kind of daily struggles they go through in terms of accessing the transport here to their various destinations. I want to speak to this student. You are welcome to Citi FM. Thank you. What's the difficulty in finding transport or finding vehicles from this place to your school?
Yeah, there are no vehicles. We can stay here for more than about 2 hours or 3 hours. No vehicles. No. Sometimes we have to pick some from here to Bombay and alight and pick another one from Bombay to our school. So here we are finding it very difficult for transportation. Okay, so the time on my phone now is 8:19. It means you have missed some lessons already. Yeah, we have missed. Maybe before we could reach school, it's 9 o'clock, maybe break time. So we have missed 1 hour or so. And if we reach school, they'll say we are late, so we have to pay this fee, we have to pay gate fees for, and sometimes they whip us. When we talk, they say, no, we are lying. We don't wake up early, but they don't know what we are.
Okay. But is that not the case? You don't wake up early. Since you know this is the situation, why don't you wake up early? You get the vehicle early and get to school early.
Even if you come here early, you don't get the vehicle early. Maybe you may stand here for more than 2 or 3 hours. No vehicle. Sometimes you have to be begging some people to pick you up, then drop you off. It's very difficult for us here.
Okay, so let me speak to another student here who are shying away from the conversation here. So that is the situation, Caleb, when you come here. So you go to other parts of the Ashanti region, you have a similar issue happening, but usually you find this problem happening especially in the evening at the peak hours where people are struggling to get vehicles from the market areas, Dr. Mensa, the main market, the KJTR market, the central business district that they do to their destinations. Some pay as much as 20 Ghana cedis, and then the fare usually would be 5 cedis to their destination or 7 cedis. But because of this hurdle or this struggle, they want to get back to their homes after hard day's work to just pay that money because they want to ignore the kind of stress and the difficulty they are facing. So that's the situation you find in most of the communities within the Ashanti region. So we spoke to authorities even before during the festivities. We thought that usually because of the festivities you have more people coming to town, but that is not the case. Even after the festivities, you are still experiencing some of these challenges in most communities. And the KMA, some time ago, arrested most of these drivers who were doing that. But usually these arrests are done in the mornings and in the afternoons. But in the evening, you don't find the KMA task force at most of these bus terminals working. So that is the difficulty you find. But people had to contend with the situation. Some will have to pay extra in terms of getting to their destination, Caleb.
Right. Hafiz, has there been any intervention from the Metro Mass? Is there any in Kumasi? Okay, I think Ayalolo is more Accra based. Is there?
Well, Caleb, there's Ayalolo in Kumasi as well. But okay. I can tell you that if you go to the Oforikrom yard of the SPC, we have more than 100 buses that have been grounded. And we have carried several stories on this, and authorities will just give assurances that they are going to fix them. And you don't find this problem being fixed. During the festive season, when we approached them with the kind of concerns from the public, they had brought in some buses. They had deployed some of the buses to the areas, but these buses are not enough. But sometimes the passengers, the authorities want to put the blame on the passengers because the passengers are reluctant in boarding these buses, for the reason being that the buses are slow because of the number of people the bus is picking up. People will be dropping off and they are not able to get to their various destinations as they may desire. So that's the challenge sometimes. But I can tell you that over 100 of these buses at the Oforikrom terminal of the STC have been grounded. They are not working. Only few of them are plying the roads of the Ashanti region and the Kumasi metropolis.
Hafiz, my final question, it's the weekend, and we do know that weekends Kumasi gets busy because of travels from across the country for all kinds of activities. If intra-city transport is not resolved, what kind of congestion are we going to see in your view, from your experience living and covering the city? What would the situation be by the weekend if this is not resolved?
So already, like you mentioned, you see, when it is weekend, people go for different activities, especially funerals, and the city is usually congested. And because people are not finding vehicles, when they have the vehicles, they are into traffic, and that is worsening their situation. And for for most of the areas, usually you find that, like the Bekwai roundabout areas, the Sofulan areas, these are the places you find so congested during the weekend. And these are major routes that link Kumasi to various parts of the country, various parts of the region. And that situation you find mostly during the weekend. But for people not getting transport, usually you find this on Monday, you find this on Tuesday, you find this. Usually on Fridays, the situation is a bit down because getting into the weekend, most of the people who go to work either go so early to return or travel to their various destinations for the weekend, and you don't find the issue here. But in the evening, like where I mentioned the Central Business District, the KJTR, Dr. Mensa, and the major market areas, you find this problem still persisting.
Hafiz, thank you so much for your report this morning. He's a Middle Belt Bureau Chief, Hafiz Tijani. He just spoke to us here in Accra. The mayor or the municipal metropolitan chief executive has been on the street, and he's been saying that the assembly will soon deploy electric buses to help address the city's growing transport shortages. He says the initiative is expected to improve mobility and reduce pressure on commuters and make public transport more affordable and efficient.
Is bringing electric buses. We are starting the first metro transport in Accra, which we are going to have a very cheaper fares. So you should pray. The mayor has a good thing to offer this people of Accra. We are bringing the first metro transport. It's electric bus, so we don't buy fuel. So with 3 CD, 4 CD, you can go wherever you want to go. And the price is going to be the same. If you pick the car from Accra to Circle, it's the same. If you pick a car from Accra to Kaneshi, it will be the same. So it's something that we are going to do. We are looking at.
So that was the mayor, Michael Ni Bakbo, mayor of Accra. Earlier you heard Hafiz Tijani, and before then there were some commuters from last night who we got to experience their frustrations finding a bus home. So same issue has persisted across the week. In fact, from the festive season until now, we've been talking about hiked fares and then also increased travel time as a result of the deliberate attempt by these bus, owners not to move at all, or whether if they are moving, then they are stopping at unauthorized routes, undesignated routes, just so they can increase the stuff. Interestingly, some of the executives of GPRTU are on the television ChannelOne now, and they are saying that, look, the drivers who are demanding more, who are engaging in this chaos, are not their members.
How do they know?
Okay.
How do they know they are not their members?
They have a membership. They are unionized.
But yesterday, you see, I appreciate the efforts the GPRT is making to address these issues. But I am just saying that if you think about it, the problem that we have, and I raised this issue yesterday, it is very hard to explain away the fact that there are that many non-GPRTU affiliated
on the roads,
cars on the road to cause this problem. You see, and it's not just their problem. There are other things linked to this. So, for instance, as we are going through these problems, a key solution would be decongestion of the bottlenecks that we have in the various cities. And by that, not just here, we just heard from Kumasi.
Yeah.
So the bottlenecks in Kumasi and the bottlenecks in Accra. So those of you who come from the Adenta area and are always complaining about, have things improved at the Medina side of things?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
I stay away. I stay clear of that route.
Yes.
But I certainly believe nothing has changed.
Well, maybe our listeners can help us. Have things improved on that road? Because here's the thing. If, one, there are no cars, okay?
Yeah.
And traffic is also, there's a bottleneck at that key spot. Those who are coming in are not getting through on time. Those who are going out are not getting through on time. For instance, CBD, Nadabraka.
Yeah.
As soon as you cross Franco,
yes,
traffic is choked.
All the
So
way.
if I am standing at the the MTTD office, Accra Central,
Yes.
and I'm waiting for a trotro at that station there,
It will take a very long
when
time.
will the trotro leave Franco and get to me there?
Yeah.
You understand? So there is no easy flow even for the emergency services that are being brought in. So whilst we are thinking about augmenting the fleets in town, at the same time
The system is choked.
we must clear the roads. Tiptoe lane. If I get over the top, that road must be clear, so that people don't have to, fight with the trotros and everything, so that the trotros can move fast.
Yeah.
That is also something that needs to be considered. But for me, the key thing that needs to happen, I was hoping to hear this morning, for instance, and I saw bits of it yesterday, but we need this on a more formal level, where we saw operatives from different security outfits at some of the stations, the more popular stations. So I think they went to Circle, they went to other places to try and ensure that the right fares are being charged. And even with that one, the trotros drivers and their mates at the station were busy telling some of the people, hey, what can you do? You can't force the driver to move the car.
True.
Okay, so what I expect as well is, look, the transport ministry and it's the local government ministry and all the agencies that are linked to this, take over the terminals. Look, enter the terminals, Accra, Kumasi, wherever they may be, put your people there and tell the GPRTU, look, until this situation is resolved, the terminals are assembly property. We are running the terminals. That gives you a fair idea of how the terminals run, how the vehicles move, what is happening there, so that they can at least get some proper feedback. Because at the moment, all the ministry and the local government people are doing is relying on what the GPRTU says.
Yeah.
And the GPRTU is in the business of GPRTU. They're not in the business of government.
Yeah.
They are in the business of GPRTU.
They're not doing public service.
No. They are there to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is why he can tell you that I will not move my vehicle today, because it is not the state that puts fuel in that car.
True.
So if he decides that he has parked his vehicle at home for the next 3 days until he gets to charge the prices he wants to charge, what can you do? But you can what you can also do is then also make sure that that kind of driver doesn't get back on the road. How? Because he can't pass through your terminals.
Because he's not complying.
Exactly. You need to find. I think they need to find ways of making this easier for the public, and they need to do it. It might sound sometimes heavy-handed, but that is what we have governments for. At this point, you do not compromise with drivers and GPRTU.
At the expense of the public.
At our expense. Yeah. You are on our side. I don't think anybody who is taking public transport this morning and is a victim of what is happening is sympathizing with the GPRTU.
No one is.
After spending 3 hours, look at the child Hafiz just interviewed in Kumasi, who is going to be late for school, or will perhaps get punished because the teacher thinks he's lying, has missed perhaps 2 periods or sometimes even 3 periods of school before he gets there. And now imagine that this same boy closes from school in the afternoon at 3 or 4 and then has to follow through the same tragic occurrence to get back home. Why? So we need the state to be very heavy-handed with these elements in the system to get people to move. If it requires you to tell the GPRTU, we are breaking you up. And I don't know what the difficulty is. We've all followed the history of this. Okay, and so one can appreciate the political strength of the GPRTU. But I keep saying this. Why do we reduce everything to political strength of these entities? One time it is Guta. One time it is this. It is always the ordinary citizen who suffers. It is always the ordinary citizen who is left at the mercy of these cartels. Why does the government find this so difficult? Why will we die without GPRTU? Clear them off. Look, this problem gets resolved temporarily. In another month or 2, we'll be back discussing this same problem under the same conditions. Why? Because perhaps the economy flips a bit, transport fares increase. Hey, we are back. We are increasing fares.
And there is fight between conductors
who
and
says that
passengers.
the general public enjoys being punished the way they are punished on a daily by transport owners, by these transport owners? They don't enjoy it. Who enjoys standing there for 3.5 hours after a hard day's work, trying to get home to their family? You close work at 5 and get home at 11 to wake up at 3 a.m. to go and wait for another 2.5 hours for a public transport, a poorly secured public transport that won't move on time. Why? What has the ordinary citizen done? So we need the government to be on our side. Look, these are not voting matters. These are productivity matters. These are health matters. These are safety matters. So I want to see a far more robust approach to dealing with these things, because I am certainly, I've seen Mr. Imoro in our studio, the spokesperson of the GPRTU. When I'm done, I'm going to meet him as well to tell him that, look, you and your people, you are not speaking the truth to us, because it is clear what is going on the roads. We sent our microphones there, we sent our reporters there. Some of them even admitted clearly that our people have told us from the top that we must do this. They are clearly admitting. Some of them have said, if you bring the MMT buses, you will see.
True.
What is there to be seen? Why are we being held hostage by these unscrupulous people? And that is what it is. They are unscrupulous. Who will do this to us? In which country would this be allowed to happen? That private businesses who control transport dictate the movement of the economy, and we are sitting there happily watching. Accra is watching, Kumasi is watching. Yeah. Municipalities are watching. They are happy.
Tamale is catching up with this.
What is this? We need a lot more agency. Yesterday there were meetings between inter something. I hear the vice president is meeting.
Transport minister today.
We need a heavy-handed measure. Look, something that wakes up these people for them to understand that they can't take us for granted, that they are not in control. That is what beats my mind. This feeling of they are in control that the state has allowed them to have. The state must let them understand that they are not in control. And I'm sure some politician, someone is saying, look at Godfrey, he's just talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, we continue sitting there thinking like that. That is why we will be where we are. And because that person doesn't have to suffer through 4 hours of a trotro, I don't have to suffer through the 4 hours of a trotro, but I see people. And I know people who go through it. And most of them are listening to us and they say they don't want to go through it. Why? Why is it so hard to ask for a bit of comfort, a bit of ease
dignity
for the Ghanaian citizen? Why?
Dignity.
Why?
Dignity.
So as for us, we are just meant to suffer. The ordinary Ghanaian citizen, every day, it is something. Something must make you suffer. You cannot wake up and leave your home with a smile, board a bus with a smile, get off with a smile, get to work with a smile, and get back home with a smile. You leave home with a smile, get to the station, you are angry. You get on the bus, you are angry because you fight with the mate. You get off, you are angry because somebody is doing something. You get to the office, you are already angry. What kind of productivity are you getting from such a person? And that is what you have led us to. We are a bunch of frustrated people roaming through the capital city and other cities. And this is something that the country can do something about. The government can do something about it. You have an opportunity, we keep missing the opportunities. Break these people up. Mr. Nipe and Madam Toffe and the local government minister, Madam Vice President, look, go and tell them, you say you will move, okay, the country is not for you. Half these cars are not even safe anyway.
They are not.
Clear them off the road.
I love it. Half the cars are not safe anyway, so just break them up and then grant Ghanaians some dignity and all of that. But is it that easy a thing to do, Sky? Why do politicians struggle to do these? It sounds so simple. So why is it so difficult to do?
It's not simple, but it's a hard decision that must be done. It's not simple, but it must be done.
You see, I've been looking at some historical data, right? If you look at the hold of the GPRTU on the transportation system of our country, we're told they control between 70 to 80% of the market share, if I'm allowed to use that that phrase or terminology. Which is to say that they are truly the dominant factor when it comes to moving people around our cities, particularly Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Cape Coast, if you like, and many other huge urban centers of our country. And then that is not what the only thing they do. They also move people from one city to the other. So if the movement of Ghana depends largely on this particular group, then you would realize that they hold a lot of sway over government when it comes to, what should happen in the space. Because to be able to break that hold, first of all, you need to put in place the right policies. You need to ensure that those policies are enforced.
There are several
you also need to
strategy policies.
I'm coming. Exactly. And you also need to ensure that you have the right number of buses available. Right?
That's one.
Exactly. And if you look at some of the recommendations that I've dug up, for instance, I mean, as far back as 2006, I was looking at a document that says that at the level of the World Bank, for instance, the recommendation is that the number of buses required per 1,000 population would depend on the public transport mode share, the presence or otherwise of rail or other public transport modes, the capacity of the buses, the extent to which they may be utilized in terms of daily kilometers per bus, and the daily number and average length of bus journeys undertaken by each inhabitant of the city. With so many variables, the minimum requirement varies considerably from city to city, but would typically lie between 0.5 and 1.2 per 1,000 population. Now, so if you look at Accra's population, for instance, which we are told sits somewhere
5 million
between 5 million and 6 million, it would imply that we need roughly between 3,000 to 7,200 buses.
3,000 to 7,200 buses.
Exactly. But you see, this does not take into account the fact that we do not have rail systems. We don't have boats moving people across the city.
So that means we probably need to double the numbers.
We don't have trams in the system. We don't have bicycles in extensive use. We are using Aboboyaya and what do you call it? Pragia and the Okadas. So if you look at it closely, maybe we might need thrice this number. Which will mean we go for the upper limit of 7,200 and you multiply that by, say, 3. Taking into account some of the gaps we do have in our transportation system.
We want 21,600 buses.
Exactly. Now, the question you ask yourself is, a government that wants to break GPRTU, right, with such level of resolve, would need to at least, in the medium to long term, or in the immediate to medium to long term, bring in at least 21,000 buses into the country.
So say you want to do this in 5 years?
Yes.
Or let's say 3 years.
3 years.
So you can bring 7,000 every other year.
Yes. Now, the question is, do you have 7,000 buses sitting in a warehouse somewhere you can import within 2 months? They're in Ghana. No. You don't. Right? So then you are still compelled to get back to these guys and tell them, negotiate. And you see, that has been the problem we have been dealing with over the past God knows when. Because I was the reporter on the bit when we're trying to do the BRT thing. The truth is that these guys have so much hold on the kahunas of government that they always run away from the red line they draw. So government will go close to the red line, would want to enforce something, get things done, but they don't get to do it. They attempted reforms that will insist on seat belts. They got it close to the line. They couldn't do it. They attempted to enforce where you stop, where you don't stop. They tried it. It didn't work because GPRTU came hard at them. Under Joe Seiwusu's time, there was an attempt to enforce the requirement that seats must be in a particular way. You don't go into Kwame Mensah's fitting shop or welding shop to put together some metal or angle bars for you and form a seat out of it. Exactly. There was a standard that was supposed to have been put in place, right?
Yeah. Because you have a 3-seater and the buses will insist they are taking 4 or 5 people.
Exactly.
Oh man.
We pressed close to the line. We couldn't cross it. We backed off because again, DPRTU came in with their heavy hands. Then too, there was this talk of ensuring that don't bring what do you call it? These bread buses. How do they call them? The buses they use in Germany to move bread around. 207 buses, which ideally should be used for carting cargo, right? We have failed to actually insist that look, we are no longer going to allow these vehicles to be modified for purposes of moving people across our cities and towns. So the point I'm making is that Godfred has made fantastic points about what we should do. That you cannot say that you want to transform the life of this economy, but still rely on these old systems. Because to be able to get this economy to work, people must move around.
With speed and accuracy.
Exactly. But if you have these small Totros or Matatus and these Vossy cars that are moving around killing people all the time these days, you will not be able to do it. But it requires a certain level of political will that our politicians do not have. And it would require the kind of investment that we must make to be able to transform the space. We are not ready to make that investment. And then also the self-interest and the conflict of interest. Many of our policymakers do have trotros in the system who account for them
as
side business.
Exactly, a side business. Accounting for them every weekend.
It's a popular business among police officers.
Police officers also, some of them, do have these trotros working for them. So it makes it difficult to even enforce the rules. Then we have friends within the DVLA system who also must survive beyond what they do at the level of the DVLA. So again, all kinds of things are happening. So Godfred has made a fantastic point, and I agree that the way to go is to actually insist that, look, we are taking you and limiting you to some parts of Accra. Yeah. You can move people from the inner cities and bring them close to the main terminals.
But from there, a bus will have to carry them forward.
So you are coming from Adenta on that highway all the way to the central business district. You are not going to see a trotro.
Yeah.
But if you go into the communities, maybe you can move people from those areas to the service lanes where the big buses can move people. The question is, do we have the political will?
No.
Do we have the right kind of investment?
Why don't we?
Do we have the discipline?
Why don't we?
And can we risk what GPRT will throw at us? Because you see,
you have the public on your side. I don't think we should fear GPRT at this point.
You know, so some people have made all kinds of claims that somehow these are the same drivers we use to run the BRTs and the things that we try doing, GAPT and all of them, and somehow the buses go bad
just break down
and do explanation. You don't know whether they have agents or outside school.
That's a conspiracy. It could be true.
Because GAPT says that 80% of their buses
broken down.
I mean, is it that the white people didn't do the buses properly? Forgive my use of the term white people. Buses on you. So it.
How come space buses that were used in the 1980s are still flying Kaneshi, and buses we bought in 2012 are broken down?
And we don't have a way to fix it.
How?
And you see, and you hear that this part they've cut it and sold it.
Yes.
You hear
they've sold a lot for scrap.
How is that? Buses bought between John Kufuor, Professor Mills, what do you call it? John Dramani Mahama the first, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo,
and John Dramani Mahama the second.
And parts have been cut.
They already scrapped.
The buses are scrapped. 30%, only 20% or 30% are working. I mean, really.
But still, Sky, even working with your 21,600 buses, Kaka, when I go to the ministries, I look at the number of V8s that are in our ministries. If we really care about the dignity of our public, I don't think that 21,600 buses for the public is something we cannot achieve if we give ourselves 5 years. If we give ourselves 5 years.
You know, when you listen to the voices from the public, you hear words like suffering. We are here suffering. It's been 3 hours. We are worried. We are frustrated. And you ask a question about dignity. And with the permission of my learned senior, let me say that our constitution is supposed to guarantee us dignity.
Thank you.
You know, I'm just sad. I'm even wondering what else I should say. I think that Godfred and Sky have freely shown ideas as to how we can get out of this. They've drawn out the medium to long-term solutions. We've seen a major canker in there, which is the driver unions, and perhaps the price we may have to take to deal with them. At what point? And I think that it comes back to our duty and our rights as citizens, but I want to press on our duty. Because all the problems that they list out, the common element is the human being called the Ghanaian, from the top to the bottom. Those are the top who collect our taxes and yet fail to deliver the basic services we need, our Ghanaians. The policy makers, the private entities that are supposed to be working with the state are Ghanaians as well.
True.
So the individuals who are engaging in side business with state property, the drivers and their union leaders who are doing some price negotiation that we are not aware of, contrary to what bylaws and transport regulation, they are all Ghanaians. And the people suffering are also Ghanaians. At what point do we stop and reflect on who we are as Ghanaians? Are we comfortable with looking at the next person suffering and not feeling anything about it, feeling nothing, absolutely nothing? With somebody, you hear a student saying that they've been standing there for 3 hours.
3 hours.
I question our moral compass as a group of people in this country. How do we sit down and do this to ourselves? How? Now, like I said, I don't have any further useful thing to add. But what I will say is that in this period, because if you hear the voices, it's not new. Everybody will tell you the drivers get to do this from the Yuletide to the New Year. That's what they do. Is business for them. But what I will say is that while the people who take our taxes to solve our problems are yet to do their jobs, while they are having their meetings, etc. Pardon my cynicism, but while they are doing that, and hopefully that they do provide some medium to long-term solutions, and in the immediate fix this problem where they are withholding vehicles and disrupting the function of this society. I will implore school authorities, I will implore employers that they should be moderate in how they deal with lateness that may arise, because I heard one of the students talking about being asked to pay a certain fine.
Before the gates are open for them.
The drivers breaking the law are the ones who are supposed to be paying fines and spending some time in jail, not a student who is trying to go to school. So I will implore that in all of this, employers and school authorities will exercise, some kindness and overlook some of these things. That doesn't mean that take advantage of the situation and also report to your school or your work.
It's amusing, right? Because when you tune into the radio or television, you listen to our leaders. They are speaking some very nice English, and they are building an economy on high speed. And you imagine we are in Japan, we are using some jet speed, trains and all of that. The speeches are up there, but where the rubber meets the road is a poorly oiled, rickety, something that is supposed to be carrying people from across the streets from one end to another. You have a cabal of unionists holding us all to ransom, and we seem to be looking on helplessly while the people suffer. Now, Sky, you talk about where we have developed all the policies, we have tried all that, sustaining the resolve, insisting that, look, you cannot park here, you cannot use a certain kind of car, you cannot take a certain amount of price or fare. That is where we look at the power of the cabal, and then we just chicken out. But Godfred insists that, look, the people are on the side of those who have power, who are holding the power in trust for us. We've all pawned out parts of our power and given that to those in authority to protect our rights. And part of that is to move around and freedom to move around in a dignified manner. So I think really that this particular government has a very fine opportunity to do right by Ghanaians for once with respect to this public transport issue and the indignities that come with that. And often when we talk about these, we are talking from the frustrations of us, the able-bodied persons. And if you go beyond that to include brothers and sisters with disability, vulnerable groups and all of that, you realize that for a very, very long time, we've been very unfair to them, because now we are feeling the pinch. But think about things when we didn't make things more inclusive for them, and you see that it's worse than we actually see it.
I'm just hoping that, the government is not going to be satisfied with this temporary solution, if indeed there is a temporary solution, because the numbers are not going anywhere. It's not like the population of Accra or Kumasi is going to reduce. In fact, if you look at the projections, they are going to get higher. So if you think that, I've been able to alleviate the problem between the months of January, February, March, April, May will come. What we are asking for is a short-term solution, which they say they are going to do because they are bringing in buses. Wherever the buses are coming in from, we don't know. The medium-term solution and the long-term solution.
Reallocating some buses. But
From
the problem
where?
with, they said those that are into intercity operations, they would disengage from those services.
So what happens to the people who have to make intercity trips?
See, that's the problem.
Because it's not like suddenly people will stop making intercity trips. So if you take intercity buses, that also means that people who have, you are reducing the availability of buses for people who have to make intercity trips to come and fill this particular gap at this moment.
Already, the fleets available for intercity trips too are also depleted.
Yes. The thing is, we did not plan for our cities, and it's reflective of a lot of things. We talk about education, we talk about sanitation, rent, water,
food.
We don't plan for anything.
Nothing.
So the researchers do all the work. If you go to RIPS, they've done the work. If you go to Tech Urban Planning, they've done the work. They have the numbers on what the city is going to look like in 5 years or 6 years. But the local assemblies, the local government, and the government itself barely look at the numbers to say, So there's a very interesting young man I started following on Twitter. It's called Dominic. And he talks about Kumasi because he lives in Kumasi. And he was talking about the nature of Kumasi roads. Because somebody asked, why can't they do BRT in Kumasi?
Roads are so small in Kumasi.
Yes, exactly. And he says the general design of roads in Kumasi is said that a large part of the city itself was designed with very narrow roads. There is no room for expansion of the roads. So how do you do a BRT there? You can't. But also here's the thing. We can't also keep asking for more trotros to be brought into the cities. And that's the thing. Look, we the government and us as people must come to the understanding that the trotro is not a solution. We seem to think the trotro is a solution. The trotro is not a solution.
Indiscipline, oh my word.
You understand? The trotro is not a solution.
It's a
it's something that we've allowed to grow and we cannot control anymore. And it's exactly, and it's convenient because it solves problems, and that is what our governments are very fond of. oh, this thing has dealt with that problem for us.
It deals with unemployment. It moves some people around, and some people are happy.
So they don't have to deal with.
It's been a stopgap measure that has become the norm.
It does not. It enables the government to work freely because people won't talk because they can move from A to B. But there has to be a certain level of deliberate planning around moving a city. So we say in 5 years, Accra will have X people. Like Sky was reading from the data. What is the plan that moves those people? Because again, if you look at cities that have a smaller population than ours, and these are major cities, they have 5, 6, 7 alternatives to moving people around those cities.
Senegal. Yeah.
The only way you can move around Accra is with a motor vehicle. Other than that, you can't move. And the largest chunk of that outside of car ownership is the trotro. Be it Accra, be it Kumasi, be it wherever. So we ask ourselves, is this in 5 years, will we still want to rely on trotros for a city that is nearing 5 million? How many trotros do we need? So here's because let's break down numbers. Trotro takes what, 15 to 20 people per trip. 15 to 20. How many people are moving within Accra from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. going to work?
Possibly in the millions.
In the millions. Are we saying we expect trotros that take how many trips will a trotro have to make to move 100 people?
That's where the indiscipline.
15, 20, 15, 20, 15, 20, 15, 20, 25, 30. How many people are you moving? When in other places you have buses that are moving on the average 90 people.
So you're alluding to its inefficiency.
Exactly. You have buses that are moving 90 people. Some buses move 100 people. In fact, some buses move more. Okay, and they move around. So if we decide to let these vehicles become the main source without being deliberate about an exit plan for them, and that is what I was talking about. This is an opportunity to start thinking about an exit plan for trotros outside of the cities. I side with Sky's idea of keeping them on the outskirts and making plans that in 2 or 3 years, if you enter the main city square, from here to here, you are on this bus. In addition to the decongestion, because here's also the thing, a large part of the congestion is caused by these same trotros. Who are the reasons why there isn't efficient movement of vehicles in the city? Why? If I am coming from Adabraka and I'm heading towards Tesano, I will meet them blocking the road at Tiptoe Lane. If I am from Adabraka headed towards Accra, I will meet them at the cocoa board, blocking the road. I can't move. If I am coming from Kaswa to Accra, I will meet them somewhere. If you get to Malam Junction, Bobo, the Malam Market, you are dead. You can be in it from Malam to Sakaman. Half the road you will get there is trotros, particularly the Malam Market. You get to Kokompe side, you are locked in. You get to Kaneshi, there are trotros coming in from the Pentecost Church inside Kaneshi itself, joining the main road. Bottleneck there. Madina, bottleneck there. So what exactly? One, you are not allowing us to move efficiently. 2, you are holding us to ransom by hiding your vehicles. 3, you are charging exorbitant fees because you are saying you want to make more money. Like, how are they useful under this current circumstance? They should tell us how.
This urban transport crisis we have now is a desperate cry of the citizenry for leadership to be shown
and an opportunity
to sanitize the space. And listen, we have seen this before. There are spaces in Ghana where I'll give you an example. It's just follow me. We had bad roads at a certain point with a lot of congestion as well because of the transport, rickety, poor quality buses in this particular space. There's a lot of noise in this space that required a lot of tranquil for people to study and go about their business. Fumes from these trucks or buses that were so old, not fit for purpose, and what was seen later was leadership. Today, if you go to the same space I have described, was filled with bad roads, fumes, noise, and congestion. There is tranquil. good roads, not so much noise. The fumes are down. The congestion is gone. Why? Because someone sat down and offered leadership with design thinking. You use innovative means of technology. Okay, so what do? We go for a loan. We fix the bad roads that we have. How do we fix the congestion? Right. If you don't have a card for e-gates, you are not coming through. That means that you have reduced about 90% of the people who are illegally using your space as a thoroughfare. They are not coming through any longer. Those who are coming through are paying to do so if they are not members of the community. So you are generating funds to pay for the loans you took to fix the roads that you have now fixed, and those roads have been good up to this point, and then people are paying for that third road. So some design thinking needs to be done with this our city. I'm saying that the leadership we are looking for, we have seen it in some spaces, and from this example I've given, I'm sure people know where I'm already talking about.
Plenty places.
We've seen it.
Plenty places.
We've seen it. So we need to get some leadership.
I've been saying for the past month on this show, there needs to be a reckoning.
And
a reckoning by our leadership that, look, every country around us, no matter how highly we think of ourselves, seems to be in the middle of thinking of how to make life better for its citizens, not just because the economies are good, but in just changing the environment around them to make sure that they're able to move. Look, when you go to your Mauritius, public train, what are you talking about?
Smooth.
You're just moving.
Smooth.
Senegal recently, Dakar. It's not perfect. There are plans to improve it. They spent their money. They are doing it.
Ethiopia.
I don't want to go there. Our chaotic cousin, Nigeria.
You don't mean it.
Our very, very chaotic cousin, Nigeria, within Lagos.
They're getting it right.
Lagos.
There are plans. You see, you have to spend the money. You have to spend the money. It's not perfect. But at least you can see clear attempts at making sure that there are alternatives to move. Because imagine Lagos, a city of 22 million people, if all they had to rely on was Keke and Trotro. 22 million. How would they move?
It came to a time the state government took a decision that this keke business,
it won't happen
you
again.
won't do it here in this Lagos.
No, in our case, we are legalizing the Okada to come and augment the Trotro.
So you see,
and they said they are going to regulate the movement. We not see any regulation.
That is why I have been making the point that
Come on.
A government that came to power with so much goodwill. Of course, you made the promise. We spoke against it, right? Yeah. The first thing you engage with within the sector that moves people should not be about using keke to move people around. Imagine the energy that was used to actually get this law through Parliament, the engagement done. The opposition that came in from the youth, we want to do 21 years, don't do 21 years, let us now speak to the youth. All these consultations. Imagine if the government had decided that, look, I think we are talking big numbers here.
Yeah.
We may have made some
political promises,
but we will confine those to the hinterlands, maybe because those areas are we still are trying to get the roads right and vehicles don't go to certain spaces. So maybe we might consider those communities, and so when we do talk about legislation, it is to allow those areas. But in the cities, we want big buses, we want trams, we want a rail system. And they get to work on it. That will be a major legacy leaving initiative by a president that currently enjoys so much goodwill.
Than to just say we are legalizing or regulating Okada and then compounding the issue.
Exactly.
Because even with the riders, if you want, you needed to provide the infrastructure for them to do so. In Malaysia, anyone who has been to Kuala Lumpur will tell you that the motorbikes have their own, it's different from the road. And these motorbike roads, even you have flyovers and interchanges, you are in a town, the motorbike has its dedicated road, and they are even doing flyover. Imagine you go to a Pokwas interchange of sorts and it's just motorbike that's moving. Do you understand? So even if you wanted to do that, you needed to provide the space dedicated for them, so they don't do this daredevil driving always on your blind side, smashing your side mirrors and always running into people and vehicles.
I agree perfectly with you.
Hey, let me bring in some messages, Godfred.
Let me go through them for you.
Yeah.
Kokubansa says, Godfred, the Madina situation is more chaotic than you can think of. I don't.
There you go.
I don't exactly know how to explain the whole situation.
So with the tire.
Remove the trotros from there.
That'll be the whole story.
Hello, Caleb. The current transport and traffic situation in Accra and parts of Ghana requires more than adding vehicles to the system. That's what we're talking about. The real issue is not simply how workers get to work, but the intense physical, mental, and emotional stress they endure every morning and evening. Long hours spent in traffic reduce productivity, affect health, and lower overall quality of life. Even if government introduces more buses or vehicles, the fundamental problem remains: congestion will only increase and traffic conditions may worsen. I believe government needs to think outside the box and seriously consider hybrid and flexible work arrangements where possible. Reducing the number of people who must commute daily will ease traffic, improve worker well-being, and ultimately boost productivity without heavy infrastructure costs. This is Samuel. Good morning, Caleb and team. Trotro drivers causing the current menace should understand that better government alternatives could drive them out of business. As someone who enjoys cycling for exercise, it is frustrating that pavements meant for pedestrians and cyclists are deliberately occupied by parked cars. Even more disturbing is the dumping of chippings and sand on walkways across Ghana. This regard for public space must be addressed urgently. Godwin from Adenta. Can you ask the mayor about what we heard yesterday on Eyewitness? Is it true that the previous administration purchased a number of electric buses that the current administration has failed to bring to the country? This is We the People from Oyarefa. I see this primarily as a demand and supply issue. The government cannot be too strict or robust with the GPRT because they know that if transport operators refuse to operate, citizens will be stranded. The reality is that the available vehicles are not enough to meet public demand, and the operators are fully aware of this. That is why they are able to call the government's bluff. I believe the most effective solution is for the government to invest in more buses and vehicles and make transportation more affordable. If supply begins to outweigh demand, the balance of power will shift. Once passengers have alternatives, operators who refuse to comply with regulations will be forced to reconsider their position. At the moment, the limited transport system and higher demand give these operators leverage. Increasing the number of government-owned or regulated buses will reduce their influence and make them less able to dictate terms. Good morning, team. There are many major road constructions. There are several road construction projects ongoing, which is causing heavy traffic. And the few good roads have potholes in the middle, which also causes traffic. And this has forced the local transport operators to also charge more. This is Cubic from La Paz. Thanks for the good work you're doing. I think that if the government gradually provides buses to ply the busy routes, it will silently phase out the rickety trotros. This one says, I am pleased that Godfred brought this to light this week. The trotro drivers breaking the journey is not the only challenge. They also stop and park at bus stops for long periods and unauthorized places, making it difficult for other road users to move on the road. The trotro drivers take over the bus stop and cause so much traffic. Some very important parts of our major roads have also developed huge potholes that need to be fixed. However, ultimately, Ghana must develop its rail system, which can move many people. If there are organized and scheduled bus and rail systems, most people who drive will park and take their buses. This is David from Adenta. A couple more to go on our WhatsApp platform. Good morning, Caleb and team. My name is Gordon Dogbe from Atoku Copper. Atoku Copper in Aplao. He has a very, very interesting message. It says, as much as we're happy the fuel prices are declining, some of the pump stations are trying to be smart and take advantage of the system. For example, when you buy 500 cedis to fill your tank, it should be less this time around. However, it is not so at some of the pump stations. The regulators of this environment should please open their eyes. And this is one very angry user of the road says, such nonsense. We should get them off our roads. How on earth is a riffraff who wakes up in the morning, who's an educated young man or woman that travels with the name of GPRT? We've not been able to solve our trotro issues, and we've added Okada and the rest to this our hala. The sky is getting
more comments. I mean,
okay. Let me
on the platform.
This one says. The primary precipitating factor contributing to traffic congestion during peak hours is the preponderance of so many small trotro buses transporting an inordinate number of passengers. The aggregate passenger capacity of 20 trotro buses could be efficaciously accommodated by a mere 3 large buses. It is imperative that the government procure a fleet of buses to facilitate the transportation of commuters from the central business district to major terminali located in the peripheral areas, as exemplified by the efficacious model implemented in Ivory Coast. This is Togbu Dobu. Hey, bro, fopa. This one is from William. He says, "Good morning, my brother. I just sent, you see the discipline and small illiteracy in Ghana. Are we the only country practicing democracy in Africa? Why is it that there is so much indiscipline on our roads and everywhere? Why do we do things like we're in a primordial state? Every facet of the country seems uncontrollable. Everyone does what he or she likes, and nothing happens. And our various governments or institutions are watching on sheepishly, as if they don't know what to do. I have sent this to you unedited." The person vexed. rough.
You know, you see, if we unpack the issue, look at the numbers we saw today. 2,900 people died on our roads last year.
Correct.
Now, a huge number from these trotros, mini buses doing long journey, and then the motor keke, right? A lot of them. And you see, the number is not just those who have died, though. Beyond that, if you go into the hospitals, you are seeing people whose legs have been chopped off by their own conduct. In some cases, the doctors say that, well, this is the only solution. So as for this hospital, when you come and we can't really fix the problem, what we'll do is we'll take off your leg. Those people become a burden on society. You understand? So if we are criticizing this whole approach to wholesale, okay, let's get motorbikes onto the streets. We are saying that that is not visionary. That is failure of leadership in this day and age. That's not how you move people. So the government has got to listen. I want to make a point about who should bring the buses in. Traditionally, the government hasn't shown that it is efficient in managing this whole process, because they bring the buses in, they use our tax money to bring them in, they run the buses anyhow. There are agents of distraction in the system who spoil the buses, sell the spare parts, and we don't get to know whether they have made profit or not, right? Perhaps we should use the UK model. There should be a consortium or a group of people who come together, secure funding, buy the buses, run them according to state set standards.
Thank you.
That if you want to be on the road to move people from Adenta to the ministry's area, you need to bath properly. You should need. You know, right? Bath properly, dress decently. The bus must be swept, kept clean. People should not be eating inside. No coffees inside. No agbelimo. And then hold the people to those standards. The drivers are properly trained. Not this one where people go, instead of going to sit the exam, somebody else is sitting the exam for them. And then they have TV licenses they are using to drive. Look, the last time I was going to the Braka office, right? So I came from the Circle area. You know, when you get to the junction that takes us into the Tete Loop, exactly, on the highway, you need to turn right?
Correct.
Somehow, two trotros, right, stopped at that intersection.
Right at the junction.
Exactly. Yes. And we're picking up passengers.
And how far is that from the police station again?
Oh, just about 500 meters or less, right? And you see, and they don't drive like leisurely on that road, though. They see, I don't know whether you could do Thompson or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
Charlie, while they were there, and I was trying to get them to move, they didn't mind me. They said, that's what they were saying. Then there were other trotros driving at top speed. I was stationary. And the question is, imagine one of those trotros goes without his brakes properly working, right? You could be killed. And that is how many people are dying. Why should you stop there?
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't stop there.
Because a bus terminal.
Exactly. At least go to a bus stop. You know, so beyond the fact that they are moving people in thought, there's so much indiscipline.
Too much of it.
And the way they can disrespect is like they think that, you are driving a certain car, and it is because of you that their situation is what it is. We beg you. So we understand your situation, but honestly, if we want to make progress together, this is not the way.
We have been inviting the world to Ghana, and we say that is a destination for investments, tourism, and all. The president, some of his key appointers have been touring the world, inviting investors and people to move to Ghana, move your businesses here, and all of that. There's something called livability of our cities. If our cities are not livable, it doesn't incentivize people to come moving and live here with us. We have great culture, we have great tourist attractions, we have natural resources. Yes, we have the human resources too. But how we organize ourselves and move about, how we live our lives also matters, and everyone is looking for the most livable cities in the world, and there are indexes that people are using to measure that the quality of air we breathe, the time we spend on the road just moving from one place to another, the issue of open defecation. All these things matter. Where we source our food from, how we live our lives, how we play, how we work, how we rest. All that matters. We've ranted ad nauseum about what? Our green spaces, our urban spaces. These are all very little things that matter, that require intentionality. They don't just happen. If they are happening, we will see. So, to our president and his team, look, you have a huge mandate, and we know that you mean well, but these are the little things that matter to people most. Right. If the inflation is coming down and we are seeing that we are increasing our gold reserves, but we can't move from our homes to our workplace and come back in one piece without losing all our productive time, then what are we doing? Because as you will know, the quality of creativity and manpower of the people is worth more than any gold reserve. So you can increase our gold reserves for all we care, but if we are spending all our time moving from home to work, spending all the time just in traffic, what's the point?
You know that people have lost everything they've worked for, right? Trying to get onto a public transport.
Charlie.
Go to Circle.
Charlie.
Right? Some woman who has gone to sell, just trying to get back home so that tomorrow you go to the market and get more to sell. She's struggling to go into a bus.
Yes.
Right? These trotros.
Yes. And they take it from you.
I mean,
see how we even enter bus.
Charlie,
it's like they just fight. It's like they just open a pen of dogs and everybody's running out. It's not right. We can't do that. Honestly, no, we are begging. We deserve better, and you all know it. Charlie, bus would elsewhere.
Oh, bro,
bus will stop beautiful. They get open the AC from the bus. And the scent inside. Oh no! Then you go and sit down with your teeth and things, everything, with your card. You swipe, you sit down.
You have your internet.
Over here, somebody uses elbow to hit your mouth, the armpit before you even sit down. It's a wrestle. No, Charlie, you have to stop this thing. We deserve better than this.
I saw that on the screens, right?
Yeah. Exactly what I'm talking about.
That's right. They were using cargo truck.
Like Klaus.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
how? I mean, in this day and age. No, President Mahama, we beg you.
EABB. Why?
If you have to talk to the Americans, talk to them. You have to talk to the Chinese, talk to them. You have to talk to the British, the Germans, talk to them. If they all give us, let's say, 500 buses each, Charlie, at least it is a start.
The thing, look, I am pretty confident. If the augmented fleet arrives and they are able to deal with the decongestion, those buses would be able to make multiple trips and move people quickly. Because faster. If I don't have to deal with Medina, I don't have to deal with Okongo, I don't have to deal with Siashi.
Yeah.
Right?
37.
From there to Accra, it's a 20-minute drive. The bus gets there, terminates, makes another a U-turn, picks a second set, goes. Fast. You will with between 6 to 8.
It'll be efficient.
And the good thing is, these trotro drivers wouldn't have to necessarily go out of business. The same people who just have to be trained, and some of them will be driving.
Know about that.
But you are not sure.
But we need
this guy says something that I think we must take judicial notice.
The control board will be lost.
We must take. It is. There has to be some sort of investigation into how buses that the state owns, a year or two break down, and we have these trotro drivers, and look
from 1980.
I have this trotro guy who picks up my football team for matches. Look, his bus has been working since like
I'm sure it's 1990
something. It moves.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be on the road.
Yeah, but it moves.
It moves.
But modern state
Government buys bus 1 year, but it's gone.
No, but that it goes beyond the buses. So if you go to the NIA, go to what most of these state institutions that have vans, buses, cars, they have yards for keeping vehicles recently registered as 2012. They're all broken down, and sometimes it's just a little dent, sometimes something small, and they are parked. It's a yard of cars that have just been left to rot.
Sabotage or what?
I don't get it.
I mean, what else?
It's
is
the
we have
people
become saboteurs
of our own
country, preventing it from developing.
Charlie, when you're the man,
this one, the ECM is not working. Oh, that one, they removed ball joints. Oh, the lower arm. And then they will be selling it small.
Yep.
So they have, you don't know whether it's security men, the storekeepers, or whatever it is.
And they do deliverance.